The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Thursday, the 16th day of January 2025. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. I'm Jamal Hartman, and welcome back. First show of 2025. Sancha Durham, Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in the news break brought to you by People's. But first, Sister Sancha, I was talking about you yesterday. I said to Mia, because not yesterday, the day before, because it was Mia's first show of the year, and I said she was saying how she went to New York, and I was like, damn, I didn't even know that, as much as we communicate. And then I said, I remember saying to Larry, man, I need to check on Sancha. She ain't been quiet. She hasn't said it. And then you just popped up, hey guys, been quiet. I'm in da 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 da. Like you had quite a break, huh?
I did. Towards the end of the year last year, I said I was going to take some time, as I've been doing, whatever feeds my soul. And the end of last year, so we spent Christmas. First of all, Happy New Year, Jamal.
Likewise.
Happy New Year. Yeah. So we spent some time. We were here for Christmas, and then Maddox went to a football tournament in Naples, Florida. For New Year's Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. It was a three-day tournament. He did amazing. It was a fight in the finals. It's such a weird format where it goes down to 2v2. And anyway, they came runners up. Maddox got MVP, sharpshooter. He did amazing. But then
I caught him well.
Mommy needed a break, and we went off to Jamaica. And I went to the Barris Buju concert. I'm a Uncle Barris. That's my boy.
All right. So you had quite the break, huh?
I did. A much needed break.
Well deserved. Yes. I think I'm happy when people are able to take their time. I think Maya and I were talking about that privately the other day, like taking your time. And folks, honestly, it doesn't necessarily mean travel. It just means just getting away from what you do on a regular basis, giving yourself space. But not trying not to be envious, but I remember when I went to the Buju concert in September, and they were talking about the concert with Barris, and I was just like, man, wouldn't I want to be there? Because I'm at the Buju concert, like, yeah, he's bringing out Barris. He's gonna bring out Barris. He's gonna bring out Barris. And you know who he brought out?
Who?
Neo. And to
the road
this day,
tomatoes.
To this day, we're trying to figure out, like, how does this make sense? But
Neo just heard it was a Barris concert, and he wanted to. A Buju concert, and he wanted to get on. But listen, we have the opportunity in May. Barris and Buju is going to be in Miami. That's Saturday.
Oh, for that Memorial Day weekend.
Best of the best. Let's go.
Best of the best.
I'm all about traveling right now.
Man, I haven't been back. And crazy thing, I lived in South Florida for like 6 years and never went near Best of the Best while I was there. But previously, would go to Miami for that. Yeah.
I've never been.
Yeah. I would go hang around. It's a crazy time. But hey, Sancha, I'm glad. Happy 2025 to you. I'm glad you got some time to
yourself. Then, hold on, I get back. And what does our premier do? Call an election. I'm just like, great, sir. Great.
What you mean? You're not ready, Sancha?
I'm not. I'm not. I'm back, but I'm not ready. Listen, at one point, you know, I loved talking about politics, but my people have just, here we are. We got to talk about politics again for a whole month.
You know, yeah, you know, I should have been. You know, my blood. I don't want to go on blood pressure medication. I don't think an election between now and election. I think my blood pressure might just go up, up, up. So I've got to figure some things out, folks. I might have to sit out a few days and let the latest host and stay away because it can be stressful, folks. It can be stressful. I think I might need one of those Sancha Jamaica trips afterwards, or maybe go Costa Rica. Who knows? Let's go to the. We got David Michael Wilson says it's a thankful Thursday. Rise up and give thanks. Suzanne Ingham over on Facebook says awesome Thursday, Jamel, Sancha, and Maya. Sancha, I'm so happy you are back. It's been like forever. So glad to see you.
Thank you, Suzanne.
Yeah, I'm happy. I'm back too, Suzanne. You didn't see me from yesterday. So you got Mark Arthur C. Phillips says good morning, TDH fan. Good morning to you, big brother Mark. And Sheena
Yeah, that's Maddox. That's Maddox. Good morning, Maddox.
That would make sense. Why would your mother say hi, mommy? Okay, all right. We've got it, folks. All righty. Well, greetings, everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we welcome the chair of the Free Democratic Movement, Omar Dill. We're going to be discussing his plans. And just for an FYI, this conversation with Omar Dill was scheduled prior to the election being called. So just a heads up on that. Folks, also don't forget to subscribe on our website and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. Just a community note, just of note for the community. People are still reaching out to us to let us know that the Bermuda Progressive Labour Party continues to have our video of Vic Bowles' appearance on their social media page. As stated on a previous episode of this show, we did send the Bermuda Progressive Labour Party via their chairman a cease and desist letter. This has been followed up with another an emergency injunction via the Supreme Court. So we in no way, shape, or form as a group, an organization, a show, or individuals have said that we support any political entity. And let it be clear that there's more to these clips that are being shared by whoever. So I'd encourage people to watch the entire episodes. But I just want to put that out there because people have, continue to bring it to our attention that the Bermuda Progressive Labour Party is using our content for political gain without permission from us, our sponsors, or our partners. All right. Let's bring Maya Palacio in for the daily. Well, I don't know if I finished that. Did I tell everyone to help us grow beyond the mic already?
Yeah.
I didn't. Well, you know what to do, folks. Let's bring Maya Palacio in for the Daily Hour news break. And after that, we'll bring in Omar Dill, the chairman of the Free Democratic Movement.
Good morning. Good morning.
Great.
Morning.
Hi, Sancha.
How are you?
Just doing pretty well. Good morning, Jamal.
Oh,
I missed you, Maya.
You've been missed on the show, Sancha, for real.
You didn't say you missed me, and then that cheap morning, Jamal. Like, what am I, chopped learning or something?
Was it not happy? I literally tried to make sure it was jubilant and not even like low. Okay. I'm gonna replay it back, and you're gonna feel bad about yourself.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it's nice to see both of you. Yeah, nice to see both of you. Yeah.
Indeed.
Maya, have you been to Jamaica before?
I have, twice.
True story, and since Sancha shared it, I never had any interest, and maybe this is just as a child, I never had any interest in visiting another island, to the point when my family went to St. Kitts for a reunion in 2001. I was like, no. When I first went to Jamaica in 2016 for a friend's wedding, I was like, yo, this is like, I felt like I had missed an entire childhood going to somewhere nice. The next year I went for business, and I was just like, this is probably one of the best experiences I had. And if you know me, I don't like all inclusives. But It was really, really nice. So Sanchez saying she went to Jamaica really got me thinking. Maybe it's time for a short hop, man. Maybe that jerk chicken pit, like, well, what's the place called? Scotches or something in Montego Bay? Scotches, anybody? But man, that's what's up. That Jamel needs some of that in his life.
That's
I need
so
some of that in
true.
my life.
Jamaica is
Sanchez,
definitely one of my favorite places. And when I got there, if everybody remembered, I don't want to go into another topic, but I was just like, I don't even understand where Bermuda is with tourism, because
don't
you come
start
to
me
a place.
today.
Sorry, I just have to say this.
Don't do
You
that.
come to a place like this, and the product is very clear. We are okay.
See, Sanchez.
We got work to do.
Okay, Maya, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not. Maya's got news to do. I'm not. You
What's your
see what
news,
she tried
Maya?
to do, though, Sanchez.
I
Maya,
have
you
to
saw
get
what
it
she
out.
tried to do.
I hear it. I mean, I went to Jamaica first for sports, really, so I didn't really get to experience it in that way. But I did get to see the mountains, which was really beautiful. But their hockey pitch, I'd say, was horrible because it was nothing but concrete and sand. So I still have scars to this day from that tournament.
Oh,
Fun days.
scars, Jamaica scars. So like Bermuda road rash. You've got
Oh,
Jamaica
well, when you
scars.
play the game, if you fall on that turf, you're falling
Oh,
hard. Like on our turf in Bermuda, it's Astro and it's water based, and there's this
oh,
concrete and sand with a little Astro on top of it. So
oh,
you're hitting the road basically every single time you fall.
oh, that sounds
This is why
painful.
we should do hockey in Bermuda, not Jamaica tourism products. But yeah.
See, let's just try and do it again. Maya, start news. Start news.
All right, so good morning, everyone. This is your daily hour news break brought to you by the good people at People's Pharmacy. So starting out your news this morning, profound grief has swept over the island in the latest news report that had come from the Bermuda Police Service.
Gibbs Hill Lighthouse was the scene of a tragic death on the afternoon of January the 14th, as shared by the Bermuda Police Service. BPS Assistant Commissioner Martin Weeks shared that the officers were called to the landmark lighthouse in Southampton at around 12:15 on January the 14th, where it was discovered that a 36-year-old man had experienced a sudden death. The scene was closed for investigators for about 3 hours before being reopened. If you can help investigators learn more about this horrible tragedy, contact Constable John Otterbridge at jotterbridge@bps.pm or call 211.
That's very sad. Without knowing any other details, and I don't know anything outside of what you just said, but really, really sending love and comfort to the family and community of the individual involved.
Indeed. Now, in other news, the Bermuda Police Service also needs the public's assistance in locating 2 missing teenagers
The
right
Bermuda
now.
Police Service is appealing for the public's assistance in locating 16-year-old Keith Richardson and 15-year-old Nisha Smith. Both were last seen around 11:15 p.m. on Tuesday, January the 14th in Devonshire. The teens may be traveling together on foot. 16-year-old Keith Richardson is described as 5 feet 8 inches tall, dark complexioned, of slim build, weighing around 130 pounds, with a low haircut. He was last seen wearing a gray winter jacket and white Nike sneakers. 15-year-old Nisha Smith is described as being 5 feet 9 inches tall, brown complexioned, of slim build, weighing around 130 pounds, with his hair in dreadlocks. He was last seen wearing black clothing. Efforts by the BPS officers to locate these 2 teens are ongoing. Members of the public with any information on the whereabouts of 16-year-old Keith Richardson and 15-year-old Nisha Smith are encouraged to report it immediately by calling 211 or the Department of Child and Family Services on 278-9111.
So just getting a report actually on that the 2 teens have been found and have been returned safe and well. So that's a good update to have just as this morning. Apologize for that late notice.
Glad
Well,
they're back.
Pardon, go ahead.
Glad they're back.
Yes. Well, making our way over to some political news right now. We have a bit to go through actually as more and more independent candidates have revealed themselves. We're going to start off with a past PLP cabinet minister who has joined the independent coalition of general election candidates to run against his former party. Now, this video is courtesy from TNN.
On January the 14th, Ralph Commission announced his candidacy for constituency number 17, Pembroke Central, a long-standing PLP safe seat currently held by Economy and Labour Minister Jason Hayward, who won in the 2020 general election without opposition. Mr. Commission explained that super local issues motivated his choice to run in Pembroke Central.
Too many of our people have been ignored. They've been making promises that they've not kept. And the issue around Belco in this constituency is also one that is front and center in people's concerns. Within the government itself, you've had 5 or 6 years where people have been in the caucus. Mr. Keynes, you had Jason Hayward, of course, who's the candidate here as well. And nothing's been done.
What?
Anybody else want to say something first? Because I've got to get my words together.
Santa?
Public speaking is an art. I'm gonna leave it at that.
She's being generous. I'm going to say this. This is no disrespect, but I would not run for politics simply because I would not vote for me if I was the general public. And I wouldn't vote for me because I think I will do what I believe is in the best interest of the constituents. And sometimes I don't believe people know what's in their best interest. So you would probably not like the way I would govern. That said, I wish others were self-aware. That makes sense?
I don't think it's a self-awareness. I mean,
go ahead. Why would that guy put his name out there, Central? That guy?
It's a lot of people that need employment, and we come to this space a lot of times, and which is why we're in the space that we're in, because people are doing it because they need employment, not for the betterment of the country. I mean,
yeah, no.
In my opinion, not the words of the Daily Hour.
The disclaimer's been there, but I mean, no disrespect, but honestly, I just think self-awareness is necessary in some respects. And I do ask myself at times, like, why did I think this would be a good idea? And I wonder if other people do the same. All the best to Mr. Commission, all the best. And I think it's pretty shameful that the PLP have responded to his candidacy with reminding people of why he is no longer the lead Senate leader or the like. Because if my memory serves me correctly, he was appointed having that over his head prior. So the PLP, you're just as guilty. Like, I don't separate yourself from history when you're a part of it. Okay, I'm done.
All right. Wow. Also making her debut as an independent for Constituency 31 was Renee Crockwell. Now, she's a holistic counselor and community advocate and has a long history with her constituency. So in her message, she speaks on why she ran as an independent, saying that the decision was, quote, not made lightly. Here's her story.
But over the last decade, I have enthusiastically followed Bermuda's political landscape. Through social media, I have worked to help break down our parliamentary system for voters, provide updates on parliamentary proceedings, and offer nonpartisan commentary on party platforms and election coverage. I've studied Bermuda's political parties, the PLP, UBP, OBA, and now the FDM, and even considered involvement. But time and time again, I have come to the same conclusion. Party politics is no longer serving Bermuda or her people. The party system, in my opinion, has outlived its usefulness. Instead of fostering progress and unity, it often stifles innovation and deepens the divisions that plague our small island home. What was once the solution has now become the problem.
Curious to know what you guys think about all the new independents coming forward in this general election.
I'm confused. I'm confused because there was already an independent running in that constituency. So the idea that all the independents are working together, help me understand that one then.
I feel like that was more of a speculation made by others.
Yeah, no, that's my point.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
It's like that kind of is in their face. Like, well, if there's such a group and working together, why are there two independents in this one constituency? I'm confused. No, to Ms. Crockwell, I don't know her. But based on what I read and seen, she seems someone who, is really down for what she speaks of. Like she's, a believer. I don't know. I don't know.
I think she will be, or she is, a great candidate. Whenever I hear about her or listen to her, or she's not for self. You know what I mean? I think that, in my opinion, she's definitely a lot about the community. She is. I don't think it's her putting forward anything for selfish reasons. So, running in the same constituency as another independent, I feel like we always start something as a people, but just can't get it right, right? So, yeah, but I think she's a good candidate.
Yeah.
She would get my vote.
Okay.
Well, now we're going to close it out with other political news coming from the Progressive Labour Party. Now, they have a candidate as well that they're calling, quote, a next generation leader. And she introduced herself at a recent press conference with reasons why she joined the ranks of the Progressive Labour Party. And she'll be running in constituency 20 Pembroke West. So let's hear from her.
I am a woman who wants to see change and progress in our community. And I am a mother who will work to make it happen. I am blessed to stand before you today. If it were not for the good services and organizations that help so many of us, my story could have been much different. I was once considered an at-risk youth, but programs like the Mirrors program, which the Progressive Labour Party created, helped me to define a better, more successful path.
So those are the words from Ms. Musson.
I don't know her, but I'm glad that she's benefited from, a program like Mirrors that, she said she was based on what she was considered. I don't know who it was, maybe Gary Foster Skelton or someone at the Royal Gazette, but they asked David Burke, the premier, pretty much about filling out seats like this with candidates. These are seats that the PLP will not win, despite what happened in 2020, which is a fluke, and based on emotion of thinking that the PLP did great with the pandemic. This is a seat that she'll probably get flogged in. So they're making up numbers, and he knows what he's doing. I don't like to see this happen to candidates. I don't. You've seen it happen on both sides for years. I don't know this young lady. I hope that whoever she is, whatever she's capable of doing, can benefit Bermuda and Bermudians. Let me be clear before I make my next statement. I am not interested in being a part of any political party or independent movement. So this statement is not anti-PLP, as they will try to say. But I'm always very interested or intrigued to learn more when I see unique people joining movements. And in this space, what I mean by unique is she's a young Black woman, and the young Black women I've seen around don't seem to be down with the PLP. So I do wonder what's in it for that one person when the majority of their peers seem to be on, in a different space.
Okay. Well, it's a good segue to remind everyone that the last day to register is today, January the 16th at 5 p.m. So you have till 5 p.m. Go to elections.gov.bm to make sure that you are registered to vote in this upcoming general election. Also, if you haven't already tried it, because I did the other night, it's quite easy to see if anyone else that is in your family is actually registered. I put in my cousin's name, birthdays, and send it to them. Oh, you're not registered yet. You got to register. So that's pretty easy and simple to do too if you want to check for anyone in your family per se. But yeah, today's the last day at 5 p.m. to do that.
Get yourself registered. Okay.
And also, as we know, that I do have a survey going out, the Bermuda Student Voter Survey. Just going to show you guys a couple of statistics that came from it, but happy to report that we've gotten over 100 responses now. We're still aiming for the 200 to 300 range, but here's some things and some insight that we've gotten from it when it hit 89 responses. The one on the left there, you see the question is, are you currently registered to vote in Bermuda? And you see the percentages of those who majority yes, but there's still some who are unsure about it. Again, if you're unsure, elections.gov.bm .bm, and you could type in your name and just see if you are or are not registered. And there is quite a majority as well that said that no, they are not. Do you feel the government's decision is excluding absentee voting impacts democracy in Bermuda? Huge majority says they strongly agree. And then the next one says agree on that. So just looking into how these students kind of feel and how they're impacted by the timing of the election. The one on the left, you currently reside outside of Bermuda, yes and no. Huge majorities, yes. So you can already tell that a lot of them are out there and won't be able to participate in this upcoming election. Closing out here, I just want to share some of the responses that were given in this report. The one here, I mean, you could definitely look at it all of them on my channel, but I think this last one here, closing out, is something that kind of screamed out the most important. It says, this marks the third time in the last 4 elections I am unable to vote in due to being off island pursuing education. It's deeply disheartening to dedicate myself to personal growth and gaining expertise to contribute to the betterment of our island, only to see little to no interest from politicians, government, or community leaders in engaging with those of us who have chosen this path to make a positive impact at home.
That's a career student if that is the last 3 or 4 elections, because 2025, 2020, 2017, 2012, unless they're including by-elections in the constituency.
They did say that person particularly is 25 ages and up, because that was an option to click and somebody was 25 and up. So
okay.
Could be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a long span there. But in saying that, folks, when you make these decisions on election day, 5 years is a long time that you're giving up. You're giving someone power. Short for them, long for us. Anyway, go ahead, man. We got a guess.
We're going to close out with the weather so we can bring our guests in, but it's looking like some sunny periods, a few blustering showers, though. So honestly, you might see a break at some point with some sun coming through, but don't expect it to be the entire day. You're going to get a lot of rain today as well. And it's still going to be pretty cold out there at only 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which means it's going to feel a lot lower. So bundle up, get your jackets, wear your gloves when you're on those bikes, and just stay safe out there.
Appreciate you, MP. Sancha, I have a days of the year if you don't. You have one?
What?
I don't know. You've been away for so long. I didn't know you remembered how to do that.
I know what my job is. Like, what?
I'm sorry. That was the joke of the day. I'm sorry.
Type of craziness. Anyway.
You didn't find my joke funny?
No.
Okay. Sorry.
Anyway.
I'm sorry. Today, okay.
You know, today is National Religious Freedom Day. So religious freedom is the idea that everyone should have the right to practice their beliefs openly and without prosecution. It's about respect, kindness, equality for all. So politics, religion, all of it. Today is National Religious Freedom. What religion are you now, if you don't mind me asking?
You know what I learned in college, in graduate school? That that in the United States, we can start a religion today and it has to be respected. You know what I'm saying? So we can call ourselves daily hourites, and this is our beliefs, and they have to respect it. Like we're in that protected class. That's the most fascinating thing about religion for me. Like they can't deny you your beliefs, even regardless of what they are. They can't, based on the law. That's interesting to me. Religious freedom is a real can of worms.
I enjoy religions, all religions. So I find it very interesting. I'm always Yeah,
I agree.
Well, Maya, thank you so much for that extended news break. We're going to bring Omar Dill and take a quick break. You have a wonderful day, and thank you for that research. I'm interested to see when you get in the hundreds what additional comments people are sharing about the election, because I know they're continuing to come through.
Yes, and please continue to share the survey as well, everyone. You can find it on all of my social platforms so that we can get this going and get more students to tell us how they're impacted by the timing of this general election.
Indeed. See you soon, MP.
See you soon. Bye.
All right, my Palacio folks, if you've appreciated the conversation so far, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back in about 2 minutes, 11 seconds. We've got Omar Dill, the chair of the Free Democratic Movement.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff. to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
When it comes to footwear, we carry functional, comfortable, orthopedic and waterproof shoes. We have construction shoes, golf shoes, shoes for walking, shoes for boating. We even have shoes for pickleball. We have shoes for everyone. With brands by Skechers, Atrax, Propay, Easy Street, Nursemates, Clogs, Avenger, Cherokee, Cat, Frog Talk and DeWalt. The list goes on.
See it all at our new expanded location on Bakery Lane.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Unlock your business potential with BDC's General Microloan, offering up to $30,000 for Bermudian small and medium businesses. Whether it's for inventory, working capital, or equipment, we provide 100% guarantee on approved loans. Simple application, low interest rates, and fast processing. Apply today and make your business dream come true.
Bermuda Trivia, the Black History Edition, is now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Visit bermudatrivia.com or email contact@bermudatrivia.com to learn more.
Alrighty, welcome back to the big show, Central Durham. I am Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House, Lindo's, and People's Pharmacy. Do not forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we do our part to continue to improve our community. All right, folks, without further ado, let's bring in our guest for the day. We've got the chair of the Free Democratic Movement, Omar Dill. Before we bring him in, just want to remind people, this conversation was scheduled before the premier called the election. No, that doesn't mean we can't ask about the election. I'm just letting you know that it was scheduled prior to the premier calling the election. All right, let's give a warm TDH welcome to Omar.
Hello.
Greetings, sir. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
First off, calm down, you all. They got excited. First time on, especially. But first of all, before we get into any business today, I just want to say, man, you're one of my favorite people. And tell you what, this brother met in the airport, I think December. I met him in the airport, came up to me. Listen to me, audience. Listen to me what I'm saying. Listen carefully. This brother came up, said, introduced himself, right? He shook hands. He said, man, you're not as short as Sherry makes people think you are. That's my cousin. I'm going to have to talk to her. I appreciate this brother. Sherry out here spreading rumors, got people thinking I'm, But anyway, man, hey, it was a pleasure meeting you as well, man. It was. And I first saw your name and your picture connected with him. And to me, seeing you connected with the FDM is saying, okay, this is a real brother doing something in the community as a career, not just as a career, but also, activism and the like. So welcome to the show. Thank you for trusting this platform to have a conversation. But let's jump into it now. For those unfamiliar with you or the FDM, just tell us a bit about yourself and your background and the party's overall view from this seat of the chair.
So like you said, my name, Omar Dill. I am currently the chairperson of the Free Democratic Movement. More personally, I am, as you mentioned, I work for him. In the past, I've been a fireman. I have been a traffic controller. I've worked with children with autism. I've worked at Child and Family Services. So my career spans various disciplines, but one thing that it has in common with everything else is people. I really enjoy working with people. I enjoy talking with people. I enjoy helping people, right? It's something that I believe has a benefit as an individual. Like I believe the more you help people, I think they say it releases beta endorphins. So I've lived in Bermuda my whole life. I went to university, got a degree, sociology and psychology, bachelor's degree. And I enjoy running. I'm in the Front Street Mile tomorrow, so come check me. Yeah, I like football. I've boxed in the past. I think I have maybe 4 or 5 fights. So I'm pretty versatile. I like to do a little bit of everything. I like to start in the back of the class. Is what I like. Yeah.
I mean, wow. I'll be for one. I had no idea. I mean, the man boxed. Be careful what you say, folks. But no, really. This is a time. I mean, everyone has a political opinion. And having been involved in a political party in the past, I know the stress it can bring, the challenges that come with it, and that's why for me, I'm comfortable sitting in the seat that I am. I'm having the discussions in this space. But what motivated you? What inspired you to want to actually get politically involved, and especially taking on the role of the chairman for a political entity?
I would say it's my country, right? And most people will agree, almost everybody you speak to anywhere, we're not happy with how things are going in the country today. And it's really as simple as that. So I can either, maybe vote every 4 or 5 years and try and do my best to make my mark there. I can help in the charity space, which there's a lot of great charities, or I can take a more direct approach. So, I chose to take that approach. So in maybe 20, 30 years, I can say, well, I've done my best. So that's what really propelled me to join the political space, is just seeking a better way, seeking some change in the island.
And what as chair of the FDM, what kind of challenges have you faced so far? And what made you want to take on that role within the party?
I would say my peers. When I say my peers, I mean those within the FDM. It was what you call it, a vote of acclamation, where I was almost the natural choice. Again, I enjoy people. In taking this role, a big piece of it was ensuring that I do have a team around me. So as you can imagine, right now, I'm in 17 different group chats, but they're all pinging off without me. So I really do appreciate that we have a team that's able to get things done and accomplish certain tasks. So it's just me, kind of smoothing over everything and making sure everybody is communicating the way that they should.
Indeed.
One of the things Jamal would tell you, about being on this show, I love when I meet new people that are interesting, that I've never run into before. So it's a pleasure to meet you today.
Nice to meet you as well.
Very diverse. I'm impressed. So there's a public narrative that the FDM was present during the last election, 2020, and then disappeared after the election.
Yes.
What do you have to say to that?
The 2020 election, as we all know, was called during COVID. It was a bit of a surprise for most people. The FDM fielded, I'm not sure the exact number of candidates, but the people made their choice in what they wanted. I believe the opposition would have been the OBA, and the PLP took a large majority, 30-6. So that would be what we call the will of the people. That the people would have spoken to say, this is what we want for our country. From a parliamentary point of view. From on the scene of politics, the FDM was not there, but that was because what the people wanted at that time. From under the surface, however, I mean, again, I'm here right now. Others are also here, and we have been doing things, I would say, more quietly. We've had plenty of events, plenty of smaller, more community-based things that would have touched little small segments of society, but nothing in the newspaper. And I would say politics is not all where it was at. Politics is not all what you see on the front lines. So that's what I would say to those people. But what I would also say is we're here now. We have been very active. We've released policies. As you might have known, I wrote a letter to the governor. That's something that has, to my knowledge, never been done politically. Just seeking to really push for the change that needs to happen and not being passive as politics as usual. And I think when we speak about independence and things like that, those are the reasons why they believe they have a place.
Is the FDM prepared to announce 36 candidates come January 31st, nomination day?
What I would say, we're very much looking forward to the January 31st, and I look forward to giving you that answer. I would say our focus is not just on releasing candidates, but making sure that we're an actual option to govern the country. So that takes, policy, what we say, which, again, going back to whether it's the independents, whether it's the OBA or the PLP, the individuals, they do matter. They should have integrity and things like that. But what ideologies will these individuals stand on when called to make decisions? So we are seeking to be transparent with that. So for a fact, the FDM wants to do this with the economy. They want to do that with education. They want to do this with housing. And then as a voter, you can make an informed decision to say these groups of people or this person or this party is going to represent me. So January 31st, yeah, you'll definitely find out exactly what we have. It's a lot of strategy that goes into politics. We want to measure 3 times, so to speak, and cut once.
I'm intrigued.
So that was a yes. We have 36 people of those of that caliber, or not sure, or get back to me.
So as the chairperson, let me say this: I will be a candidate come January 31st. So I will lead from the front, and I will make the first announcement on the Daily Hour that I will be a candidate in the current election, the currently called election.
Okay.
Well, that's it. That's good, because Tiffany Painter says, Omar is on today. Nice. After you run the mile, please run in this election and announce your candidacy. Well, he just announced his candidacy, folks.
Yes.
Santa just made him announce his candidacy here on the Daily Hour.
Thank you. So with that being said, what are the top 3 issues the FDM party plan to address in this upcoming election?
So, I mean, it's great that you asked that. 3 is a great number. We have a couple more issues than 3 in the island, but we released our housing policy in November. That is a top 3 issue for us. We released our education policy in July. Again, top 3 issue. And yesterday, we released our economic policy, top 3 issue. Those are the 3 top issues I believe that most Bermudians, if not all Bermudians, have a vested interest in. And I can continue. I would say we have 7 main issues on the island that the FDM seeks to address, inclusive of energy / the environment, immigration, it's a huge ticket item, healthcare, and many, many social issues. So there's 7 for you, but there's the top 3: housing, education, and the economy.
So how does the party plan to engage young voters and encourage them to participate in this political process?
So
I'm sure you've seen what's happened. The elections being called, everyone's overseas, or young students are overseas, and it's been a huge flashback. Like, why would we do this now? Right. How do we encourage them to come out?
I want people to really pay attention to some of the things that are going on, but also some of the things that we've been seeing. So let's go back to, I think it's the end of May. We released some material about absentee voting. We were advocating for absentee voting now almost 10 months ago, right? Silence, nothing. So this is an issue that is important to us. I would say the FDM was created with the youth in mind. And I say that from a point of view of not just youth who are eligible to vote today, but for the future. You said you have a child, Maddox, I believe you said his name was. I have a child, right? So these things are important to me. I am here so I can say for my son in 10 years and 15 years, hey, either I was successful and I changed the country and things are better, or I tried my best. So the youth are everything to a country. So again, our first policy that came out for this election cycle was education. Nothing more important than education. Since that policy has come out, there's been a lot of reports of the education system falling apart, from the teachers, from parents, et cetera, et cetera. So the youth are paramount in everything that we do.
Real quickly, just audience, if you have any questions or comments for Omar Dill, FDM chairman, please send your questions through. If you have any questions, comments, please send them through.
So my next question, it kind of leads towards the youth again, because I think these ticket items are big for them. How do you respond to criticisms of the FDM stance on social justice, equality, inclusion, and also global warming?
So criticisms, can you just give me one in particular? Just so.
So when we talk about the social justice, equality, and inclusion, I think that it's the FDM has stood firm to say with the LGBTQ community, same-sex marriage, that there are things that they're not really with. They would say,
So let me
as
let me
Martin
answer
was
that
saying,
one
the
first.
community.
Perfect. So let's just rewind back. So Bermuda, we were able to pass as a country some LGBTQ plus legislation. The current sitting government spent millions fighting that legislation to the highest court, right? The FDM never would have done that. Never would have tried to repeal and spend money. And this is not what we consider to be a major thing that needs to be done with the people's money. So I personally never, I mean, I have heard people speak these things, but we've actually, I can say, as we do with everybody, liaise with certain organizations and certain entities that represent certain people. And we got a pretty good understanding of what that community is looking for. And I think our policies and our policies are in synergy with some of the things that they are pushing for. And I think what we're all pushing for is to be able to live in freedom, in peace, and without hindrance. So, and I think the second question I can definitely answer about climate change, I believe.
Global warming, climate change.
Global warming. Yeah. So again, I've actually addressed this in another forum, but we love the environment. I am a registered farmer. That's one more thing you can add to my resume. So when we release our energy policy, you'll see a bit about why we care about the environment and how we care about the environment. One thing I've said is that I've yet to see any party release any sort of environmentally friendly legislation. Again, we have a current government who is cutting taxes on heavy fuel oil that's polluting. We saw Ralph Commission running in C-17. Anybody who's from Mount Hill or lives in that area knows it's horrible, especially with the new Belco towers that are literally right next to Berkeley, which is, again, the youth. So I don't believe that we are currently a leader in any sort of climate change mitigation, so to speak. But I believe from an FDM point of view, from an environmental point of view, we definitely love the environment, and we definitely have the environment at the forefront of our thinking.
So with that being said, are there any key issues where you see the potential for collaboration with any other parties, whether it's the independents, OBA, PLP?
So I don't know if you guys can bring up our crest really quickly, but that will kind of tell the story about where we stand as it relates to that. So on our crest, we have our cedar tree. It is gold, it is red, and it is green. And it is not that way by coincidence. We believe that for Bermuda as a whole to move forward, we must work together with everyone. Furthermore, after the by-election in C-36, our founder, Mark Bean, he actually said it loud and clear. And it was front page news for a couple of days. But now we've seen the same calls coming out again from the wider community. So I believe our stance on working together is fairly clear. And yeah.
Okay. I just want to follow up to that. So your stance is fairly clear, and you're right. Honorable Mark Bean was the first one to say that, it's basically necessary if the goal of removing the current administration is to happen. Other talks taking place that on nomination day, we will see a coalition perhaps.
So in my role as a chairperson, I'm more like internal affairs. So it's my job to ensure that the party internally candidates are as strong as possible. So I have a book of people, and come January 31st, based on the layout of the land, we will put forth who we feel is the best for the job in particular areas.
Okay.
Okay. What I feel like we should probably go to some of the questions from the audience.
Let's go to the audience. We've got Mark Arthur C. Phillips. He's asking, the economy is a challenge on the island. How does the FDM intend to cause economic growth?
Very good question. So again, we released our economic policy just yesterday. So essentially, we need a boost in the economy. People are struggling. We are being taxed heavily, and that is kind of holding back the economy. I was speaking to a business owner last week, and there are approximately 1,500 rental bikes on the island right now. In our tourism heyday, there was like 6,000. Right. So the economic activity is limited. There was a time in Bermuda when taxi drivers would probably have $10,000 cash on them at any one time. Taxis are currently struggling, right? So our economy is kind of limping along, and to compensate for that, we're kind of being taxed a bit more, which is also slowing down that progress. So what our plan looks like is cutting some of those taxes to allow people to have more money in their pocket. Whether that be payroll tax, whether that be duty, which is a big one. You know, for vehicles, for example, if you have a car that costs $30,000, government got $15,000 out of that purchase, right? So that money is being sucked out of the economy and being put into taxes, and we see where that's going from a governance point of view, from a fiscal responsibility point of view. So we want to govern responsibly, which means every dollar we take in, we can account for. It's going in places that it needs to go in. But then also we want to take in a bit less to allow people to spend that money how they see fit. So that's some of the ways in which we seek to look to boost the economy. I encourage you to look at the full policy. Our website, fdmbda.com, fdmbda.com has our 3 recently released policies. But more specifically, I say the economic policy is fairly detailed, and with all 3 of our policies, what I say is that it's comprehensive. It's step by step. It's a timeline. This is what we want to do first. This is what we want to do second. This is how it's going to help you. This is how it's going to help businesses. This is how it's going to help the economy.
All right. We've got Malik24 asking, if the FDM was to achieve a majority in the 2025 elections, what would be the party's first-year plan? What would the first-year plan look like?
So I think the number 2, the 2 biggest priority issues, in my opinion, housing and the economy, right? So our first year, it looks like cutting those duties to put more money in people's pockets. It looks like making more properties available. And when I say that, as an example, so in our housing policy, there's a synergy with that in our economic policy. But in both of those policies, we speak about derelict buildings. There are approximately 40 unused government buildings. That's including the closed schools and other buildings, right? We want to put those on the market for people to develop, whether that be for housing or for small businesses and medium-sized businesses. So those are some of the things that we would do. Again, if you look at our economic policy, we literally have a timeline of events step by step on how we would do it. The same thing holds true with the housing policy. An interesting point of note, I would say our housing policy was released in November, and there is one point that the PLP is now using in their platform for housing. So we know that our ideas are really good, and one thing we're trying to really do is get people to read through our policies, so when they see these things, put forth by other entities, they can say that, oh, the FDM said that. Same thing with like absentee balloting. The FDM said that 8 months ago. So that's kind of what our first year would look like.
Rosalind Famous asking, is the underlying political philosophy of the FDM a libertarian political philosophy?
I cannot speak to that libertarian political philosophy. I believe that certain boxes they don't necessarily fit Bermuda as a whole, whether that be left wing, right wing, libertarian, socialist. Policies can oftentimes be framed in those types of frameworks, but I would say the FDM, we really are concerned with people. As I mentioned, everything starts with people. So let's talk about the economy. It's not just about money. The economy is about people. People create value. People make things happen. So if you're not taking care of people, it doesn't matter what casinos you have. It doesn't matter what businesses can open or close. The people make it happen. So we really need to take care of people. Our philosophy is once we do that, everything else falls into place.
Alrighty. My philosophy is asking, what are some solutions FDM has for fishermen when it comes to the Blue Ocean Prosperity Program? And what plans do you have for farmers to ensure more independence in their work?
Great question, Maya. So our economic policy actually has a point about that. We would like to allow the Bermuda Fishermen's Association to regulate themselves and expand into offshore fishing. There is a huge, for example, there's a huge tuna grounds located off of Bermuda. All the fishermen would know about it. If you can think about it for 1 second, how is it that Bermuda has dozens, probably almost hundreds of $1 million yachts coming in to fish on a yearly basis? They're not just coming for nothing, right? Bermuda has a lot of resources that are mainly untapped. So as it relates to the BOP in particular, I'm not a fan of BOP. I prefer for the people who do it here, the local fishermen who have organized, who have created their own plan, right? I would encourage everybody to read that plan. It's a great plan. But I would like to see them manage themselves because, as they say, they have a vested interest in this business. And they've been doing it for longer than anybody involved in the BOP from a government point of view.
Indeed. Thank you so
much. And there's a second question that Maya asked. Well, I didn't quite catch it.
Farmers, what plans do you have for farmers to ensure more independence in their work?
So again, I'm a registered farmer and I can speak to a lot of these issues. We have meetings, we've got a farmers association. A big issue is the red tape. You know, we have the Department of Environment and Natural Resources who are overstepping their boundaries and doing things that they're really not supposed to be doing, essentially. So any farmer will tell you that's a huge issue. That's a huge problem with cost. Time is everything for farming. You don't get the days back. You don't get the moon back. You don't get the sunlight back. You don't get the rain back. Once you miss it, you miss it. So yeah, I have a vested interest in that, and DENR needs a lot of reform to provide farmers with the opportunity and the resources to do what they need to do.
All right. We've got Tiffy Painter. Tiffy Painter says January 30th. 31st only gives 2 weeks to get to know your candidates. Any plan to announce people sooner?
So I have announced myself as of today. I will definitely have an official rollout, and we will have some rollouts between now and the end of the month. But as I mentioned before, you know, you might like me. Let's say you have Omar's nice. I like what he has to say. But if you don't know what I stand for, you really can't trust me to make decisions on your behalf, respectfully. You need to know how I feel about all of the key issues so you can definitively say yes. So for the next couple of weeks, we intend to let everybody know what the FDM as a party stands for definitively. So then you can make a decision. You can look at our economic policy today and you can say, you know what, I'm not feeling that. And that's fine. You can look at our housing policy and say, I like that. And that's fine. But any candidate who you do not know what they stand for from a policy point of view, how you feel about them personally, it means nothing, respectfully.
Okay. We've got my policy, because you did announce your candidacy. She's saying, sorry if I missed this answer, but what constituency will you be running in?
And that's part of the strategy right there. So it will be announced come nomination day, what constituency I will be in.
Okay, follow up to that. Have you at least been canvassing in the constituency that you'll be running in?
I have definitely been in a couple of different areas.
This guy's good.
Yeah, I've been in a couple of different areas. And again, it's there's a lot that goes into politics. Politics is obviously a bit of a spectator sport, a little bit, right? We have our opinions, but campaigns are won with strategy. And this is a serious thing that Bermuda is going through. Bermuda needs viable options. So we're not just going to be out there willy-nilly announcing things and saying things. When we're coming to be in. Yeah.
All right. Okay, so
I'm not saying politically correct.
this is, this, you guys mentioned it earlier. Everybody is not for this. Everybody, it's not for everybody. And for the people who want to get involved, educate yourselves, read, practice, learn, get a mentor, be trained. There is a lot that goes into this, a lot of behind the scenes work. And it's very important before you decide to put your name forth and understand about where you're being put forth. Jamal, you made a great point. There are certain areas that those who know politics, when you see certain names announced in certain places, you shrug it off because you know what it is, right? So when the FDM puts forth their candidates, we are seeking to get a reaction from Jamal and say, oh, I like that, right? And our depth of candidates means that we can run in the 20, we can run in 31, we can run in 4, we can run in 13 or 7, right?
I'm intrigued.
For those who don't know. So, we are well versed. Our candidate pool is very interesting. So
I'm intrigued.
So I have this question as well. Derek Hendrickson says, if the FDM is not successful, do they plan to remain visible or disappear again?
It only gets greater. It only gets greater. But what I would say to Derek and others is, put us on the stage. Put us in position. It's up to the people. Rather, if you want us here, keep us here. Put us in position.
But can I say, with that being said, I get it. Sometimes you can't always be on the stage and you have to be in the trenches before you get to the stage. And in my opinion, I feel like you guys started to be in the trenches, and I've said it to Jamal a few times. I'm very vocal about it. I feel like you just kind of disappeared, and I was disappointed, right? Because I felt like there was some sort of hope, and then it's like, well, where are you? So I think it's important. I do understand it's been said from yourself and from Mark as well. It's like, well, that's what the people chose. But I feel like after the fact, there is no commitment to stay present, to say, okay, they are here, they're willing to work, and they're not going to leave us.
Yeah. So let me shed a little bit more light on it, because you do have a valid point. And what I would say is there was some regrouping that was required. There was some reassessments that were required, right? So again, just like with the candidates, when we come out, we want to ensure that we've made the right step. That next step is the right step, compared to just, let's say, being out there writing op-eds once a week or once a month, or, we don't want to just be a talking piece. We want to be able to make change. And as I mentioned, we've had a variety of different events since the last election. But most of those things, they wouldn't be in the newspaper. They wouldn't be on Front Street. But they have allowed us to gain traction in certain communities with certain people. They have allowed us to, again, when we see the candidate pool, there might be, how did you get that person? It's because they see the work that is being done. So I take your point. And I think, again, like I said, we will only get stronger. We will only get bigger. We will only do more things that are more visible as we go forward. But we really want to ensure that our steps are ordered, so to speak.
All righty. Michelle White over on LinkedIn, she's asking, Omar, what is the FDM stand on immigration and its impact on the employability of Bermudians?
Immigration's a huge thing in Bermuda, right? We have a history. If you know Bermuda's history, you understand why it's such a divisive topic for Bermudians in particular. So I would say the FDM stance on immigration is kind of twofold. It's been stated, I think it's commonly held knowledge right now, that we need more people on the island. I think the only question is, what does that look like? And personally, I believe it looks like, number one, we have Bermudians, about 5,000 or so, they say, who have moved overseas. Our first priority should be bringing those people back. So how do we do that? Well, most of them probably left because of the economy. Others left because of crime. Others left because of housing, right? So let's seek to fix those things. We can't invite people into our house if our house is not fixed, if our house doesn't have lights, if you don't have a place to sit. If I can't offer you any food, I cannot invite you into my house. So immigration, our first priority is to fix Bermuda, to try and bring our own people back here. That's number one. Number two, I would say is I would, again, personally like to see a bit more diverse immigration. So when I say that, we have a lot of people from the islands in healthcare and police. So I would like to see us welcome our brothers and sisters from some of our neighboring islands to, do some of the jobs that maybe we need people to fill. So immigration, to answer your question in two parts, our first priority is bringing Bermudians back. And our second priority would be, well, let's open our doors to everybody. I know we have a policy as it relates to flights and things like that, where if you don't have a U.S. visa, you got to do all of this jumping through hoops. So, we need to change some of these local policies to be more welcoming and friendly. There was a direct flight, I think it was from Jamaica or Dominican Republic, and the government said that people cannot get on that flight unless they have a U.S. visa. And to me, these sorts of restrictions are almost colonial era restrictions, right? They're restrictions based on nationality or socioeconomic class. And I just feel we can be a little more understanding that these are our brothers, these are our sisters, these are just us on a different island. Let's welcome them just like we welcome somebody from Canada, somebody from America, somebody from the UK. We let them in, no criminal record check, nothing, right? So you want to be a bit more understanding and free with those things.
As I listen to you talk, everyone probably knows who my favorite world leader is, and I don't think she gets enough credit. She takes on all comers, big, small, whatever. And what you said as far as immigration, it's pretty much what she wants to see throughout the Caribbean. Mia Amor Motley, Barbados. And I always ask myself, I wonder what the average Bayesian Barbadian person would say about their leader. But what I find funny of it, when I hear you saying that, is someone said to me recently, they sent me something that she was saying, and they said, I want one of those for Bermuda. And in hearing you say that just now regarding immigration, I absolutely agree. I think the question of immigration is, what does that look like? Because if I'm not mistaken, the history of immigration has always had some political, purpose, right? When the OBA was pushing for it, a lot of people were concerned that they were going to bring in people who would vote in that way. And then it seemed like the PLP opposed that, but to date, has had no solution outside of that. So it is a big topic. And, when we talk about the economy and the cost of living in Bermuda, which people continue to talk about, I think the number one thing that would help with that people don't discuss enough is immigration. Bermuda needs people. People will likely drive down the cost. Question from Michael Daniels. He's asking, are you confident that the man in the street will stand shoulder to shoulder with you to promote your ideas?
That's actually our strength, the man in the street. What I'm not yet confident of, if the man in the street will show up to the polls. But the man in the street supports us like no other. It's amazing. It's beautiful to watch. I think I said it to Jamal in the airport. People just coming up to me. I don't even looking at me. I knew you from somewhere. So the man in the street is showing support like never before. So I'm happy with that. I do want to touch on one thing that you just said though about Mia. First of all, thank you. Mia's great. Mia Motley is great. She's amazing. I definitely aspire to a lot of things she has going on. But you mentioned something about the OBA and their immigration policy. I want to touch on that because that's very interesting. I was on the heel with everybody else when that was going on, right? But one thing that I think we fell asleep at the wheel with is the PLP put in those exact policies. The ones we were up there like ready to go to war for, we just allowed them to pass their same policies without even a hiccup, right? So these are the sorts of things from a political point of view, from a quote unquote race-based politics point of view, that kind of allow Bermudians to be taken advantage of, because it's so far in our political history, it's not been about the policy, it's been about who puts it forth. So that's a big thing that the FDM seeks to change is I want you to look at my policies to know if you support me or not because I'm wearing a particular color. Right? So that's again, I just wanted to touch on that really quickly.
No, for sure. Last question from the audience. We've got Derek Hendrickson asking, does the FDM feel it's prudent to place a candidate in every constituency?
I would say, yeah, we would love to have a candidate in every constituency. But as Jamal would have pointed out earlier in the show, some constituencies have got 2 independents, 1 OBA, one PLP. And we've got to like look at these things and say, okay, number one, who do we have? And based on that, is it prudent? Do we want to end up with a C36 where we got 4 candidates, 32% of the vote can win the constituency? So 200 people and you win, right? Those are things that we're going to be looking at from a strategy point of view to determine, if it's prudent, if it's smart strategically to have candidates in certain places. But yes, to answer your question, yeah, we definitely seek it. But it's going to all come down to nomination day, so we can kind of see what's on the table and what we have and where we can have the maximum benefit. Sorry, the maximum output, the maximum result.
Here, Vinay BDA has said this a couple of times today in the audience, chess. And I don't want to say it out loud, but I'm thinking it. I see the point. I see the game. I get it. Because at the end of the day, truthfully, the aim should be 19, 20 seats. To win 19 or 20 seats doesn't mean you have to place a rock in a field, where that the rock stands no chance. So I think I get what you're saying.
And just, one more thing about the rock, candidates are real people. Mm-hmm. Like, these are people that you would know, that you have a relationship with. Mm-hmm. How can I respect, and how can you respect me when I'm putting you somewhere and you don't belong? So again, people are at the heart, should be at the heart of everything. And we really have to look at the things and look at the layout and be honest with ourselves. Mm-hmm. Is this a good place for this individual? They are going to put their heart and their soul into this. And knowing that the result is not going to be in their favor, we're setting people up for pain, for no reason, really.
Yeah. Sanchi, you had another question?
I do. What final message would you like to share with the voters as they prepare to head to the polls?
Come out, participate, fdmbda.com. Check out our policies. They're all posted. We will have more policies in the next couple of weeks. We'll be rolling them out, bit by bit by bit. Again, like I mentioned, 7 main policies that we're looking at: education, housing, economy, energy and the environment, immigration, healthcare, and some social policies. So I would just say show up, show up. It's about our future. It's about the youth. It's about ensuring that everybody is able to live, free of government burdens, free of anything that is disrespectful. Just come out, really show your face, let your voice be heard. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you for coming. We appreciate it, Omar. Obviously, we'll probably be seeing some of your colleagues on the show between now and Election Day, but thank you for trusting the platform. Thanks for coming on. All the best to you and the Free Democratic Movement.
Thank you.
As we head towards the polls. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
All right. Omar Dill, folks, if you appreciated the conversation, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share that conversation with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We're going to take our final break. We'll be back in 1 minute, 40 seconds. We'll wrap it up. We'll give the daily play and send you on your way for the day. Stick with us.
Looking for the best care for your pets? Novazok Feed and Supply has everything you need, from top quality foods to toys and supplies. We've got it all. Join our frequent buyer program and earn rewards every time you shop. Plus, we've been awarded the Clever Customer Initiative program for helping you save more. And don't forget, we open an hour early on Saturdays so you can get a head start on your pet care. Visit us today or shop online for easy pickup or delivery. Your pets will thank you.
All right. Who was the first woman to become not just the first female opposition leader in Bermuda, but throughout the entire British Commonwealth?
Dame Lewis thrown at me.
Hey, buddy. Hun, who was the first woman to serve as opposition leader, not just in Bermuda, but throughout the entire British Commonwealth?
Dame Lewis Brown Evans.
Mason, what did you say?
Dame Lois Brown Evans.
Dame Lois Brown Evans? Where do you find that?
Mommy playing Bermuda Trivia.
Mommy playing Bermuda Trivia.
Oh, honey, I'm so proud of you. Good job.
It's true. Children are a reflection of their environment. Bermuda's favorite trivia game, fun with a purpose. To educate, to entertain, to inform, to inspire, to learn, and to enjoy. Bermuda Trivia, all volumes now available at various stores throughout Bermuda. Visit bermudatrivia.com to learn more and follow Bermuda Trivia on your favorite social media platforms.
All righty, welcome back to the big show. Senator Durham, I'm Jamel Hartman. Thanks again to Omar Dill and the FDM for trusting our platform for a conversation like that. Again, if you appreciated the conversation, the information, just the show today, make sure you give us a like, a love, a thumbs up, whatever platform you're on. Make sure you're sharing it with your friends, your family, your colleagues. Make sure as many people have, as you know, have access to these community conversations as possible. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House Lenders, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we can have these conversations with you on a regular basis. It is time for the Daily Play, brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, X, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. All right, it's a Name That Place today. All right, Sandra?
I forgot this part of my job.
Yeah. See, I got you. See, it's been a while. She's Rossi. Watch this now. Watch this, because the audience. Let's see how many people.
Push through, audience.
All right. Name that place. The place is constituency 18. Who is the PLP candidate for constituency 18?
Oh, I don't know, Jamal.
You don't want to take a guess?
I don't.
I mean, that's the you know, it is David.
That was easy.
No, it's not easy. It's not easy.
Keep my interest up best.
Well, no, it wasn't easy. I mean, it could have been anybody really, but it is David Burt, who actually.
Who else is in that constituency, Jamal?
That's where he defeated Nick Kemp in 2020, and I believe 2017 as well. So that's where he defeated him. I'm not sure. Anyone know who the OBA is running out there? I don't know who's the OBA running out in constituency 18. I know it. I don't think it's Nick Kemp, but yeah, David Burt is constituency 18. Which he's pretty much dominated since he's taken over. I mean, 2012 was a bit close, but since then he's dominated that seat, held one pretty tight to it. Do you see that changing this time around, Sandra?
Depending on who he's running against. I don't. I honestly, at this point, I don't know, Jamal. I really do not know.
You know what would have been helpful for the OBA right now? What would have been helpful is that video Curtis Dickinson released. Constituency 18 is Nikki Garrett. That's who's going against the premier, according to the OBAs. Yes, thank you, Nana Pam. But I think that video probably would have been the best marketing and PR. You remember that video? Remember the video that Curtis Dickinson released?
Don't remember.
Yeah, prior to the last election.
And it was removed, right?
Yeah, it was removed. Well, I mean, we still have a bit of it, Shetzer.
I do not exaggerate when I say we are on the brink. My political colleague and competitor would have you believe that the way to get out of this problem is to give away $125 million of Bermuda's dollars to overseas developers. This is a dangerous gamble. We all want to see the Fairmont Southampton reopened and restored. Bermudians want to work, not be given handouts, and it is a critical component of our tourism industry. But those who refuse to learn from the OBA failure of Morgan's Point are doomed to repeat it at Southampton Princess. And those who ignore that our tourism workers were disrespected and deprived as they were refused redundancy payments cannot be trusted to have our best interest at heart. The lack of transparency around this deal and the urgency to get it signed regardless of the consequences suggests that either our party leader doesn't know what he's doing, or he is so desperate to cling to power that he would gamble with all our futures for a public relations win. Or he patronizes us by thinking we couldn't possibly understand what is at stake for us, our children, and future generations of Bermudians. Our party leader has asked for more time. But do we believe that more time would change the prevailing view of our people? That the PLP are arrogant, out of touch, and not doing enough to improve our collective lot in life?
What's changed since then? That last part, the last 10 seconds of that. If I were working with a political party, I would have told Mr. Dickinson, name a price, because that is the best marketing campaign against the current administration that could be used. But hey, you know, I say it all the time, Sandra, elections are not won, they're lost.
Exactly.
Yeah. So anyway, what are your final thoughts on today's conversation?
My final thoughts. So today is the last day to register to vote. I had posted it yesterday on my WhatsApp status. I had a friend reach out, and a lot of people are just so confused and so conflicted. And with that being said, I feel like, please, no matter what, register to vote. We have a few weeks for you to see people's ideologies, what they're presenting, Today's conversation made me feel like all is not lost. I don't know Omar. This is my first time meeting him, but speaking to him today, it gave me a little bit of hope, right? That there are candidates out there that have some sort of valid thoughts and reasoning, and they're not just in it to say, I need a job or a career. So please register to vote, and let's take the next few weeks. And Jamal, you know, I've been defeated where it pertains to politics, because I was coming on here screaming like, guys, please, let's pay attention. Let's listen. We're in a horrible state. And I got tired. But I can say that today's conversation put a little battery in my back.
I'm glad. You know, yesterday we had Susie Aruda, independent candidate for C19 on, and I said, whoever comes on after her is going to have big shoes to fill. I think Omar did that today. He engaged with the audience. He didn't promise anything. He just spoke to what they intend to do. But also he seemed to take accountability. You know, I tweeted this morning, my tweet this morning, I went on that app and I said, giving us your version of a fair Bermuda sounds cool and all, but what many of us really want is a more accountable Bermuda too. That's what I felt this morning talking to Omar. Yeah, there's disappointment with what happened with the FDM after 2020. But many of us probably would have done the same, said, you know what, we have to regroup. Because remember, it was cold fast and they weren't prepared. I'm not making excuses for them. I hope that the lesson's been learned. And I'll say this much. The PLP may likely win this election. There could be a surprise. And over the next few weeks, especially after nomination day, we're going to be doing a lot of breaking down of key constituencies. I do believe this is going to be one of the most telling elections. And when I say telling, even if the PLP win, it may be their last term to ever sit in government during our lifetimes. So I would tell people to listen and engage with those who are seeking your vote. Talk to them. Ensure they give you the answers you're looking for. And this goes for all parties. No one gets a pass, because at the end of the day, remember, they need you. They work for you. And it's up to you to decide what direction you want to go. It's on you, people. Seriously. I'm grateful to, again, Omar and the FDM for trusting our platform. And again, we'll probably be having many conversations like this over the next month. I'm looking forward to it. Sancha, you've got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. You know who that is, right?
Who's that, Dr. King?
Barack Obama.
Oh, yeah, I knew that was Barack. Yeah, I knew that. Yeah, that's Barry. Yeah, I mean, and I think a person like Omar sharing his story this morning with all he's done, he is actually being the change he wants to see. So that said, folks, we've got to head out. Don't forget to subscribe to our follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Thanks again to our partners, the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy, for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sancha Durham. I'm Jamal Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. We are out. Peace.